And I want to share with you a story, and then I want to also relate to a book I'm reading and how this can benefit you in terms of confidence and performance. Welcome back to the Recharge Podcast. This is an episode on building your confidence bank. I hope you enjoy this episode, and if you find value here, please share this. It may help somebody else on their journey. I've been practicing medicine for more than 20 years, specifically emergency medicine. And with that comes a great deal of stress and a bit of self-questioning and at times a bit of a confidence kick in the pants, if you will. I want to share a story with you and tell you about a book I'm reading here in just a minute. The first relates to one of my first cases, and I've only missed 3 intubations in the entire span of my career. Intubation is when you place a breathing tube in someone's throat to help them breathe and then put them on a ventilator. And the first case that I had was a trauma case when I worked in a helicopter. And unfortunately, this young gentleman had hit a barbed wire fence riding a snowmobile, and the paramedics had tried to intubate him unsuccessfully. I tried to intubate him unsuccessfully, and the reality was that the situation just didn't feel right, didn't seem right. And all my previous learnings before this just made me realize that something was not right. And what that not right is that his windpipe had been completely severed from colliding with the fence. This wasn't visible or apparent externally in the midnight moonlit air, and with the assistance of paramedics and flashlights and family members and everything out in the middle of the snow, performed a surgical airway and got him successfully intubated. Unfortunately, due to the nature of his injuries, he ended up dying, and there was really nothing that any of us could have done despite our best efforts and best attempts. But what that gave me was actually a sense of confidence. I replayed that event over and over in my mind, and there was nothing that I could have done differently. I acted as fast as I could. I made one attempt to intubate him and then moved on immediately to a surgical airway, which is basically cutting a hole in the front of the neck to place the breathing tube into the windpipe, the trachea, directly through the surgical hole created in the neck. Not to be gory or gruesome, but I played that over and over in my mind so many times that if I was ever presented with that situation again, I would knew immediately what it was, and I would proceed even faster with more confidence in my skills that I could accomplish this. If I could accomplish it in the middle of a snowbank on a cold winter night with poor lighting, I could certainly accomplish this in the emergency department with capable staff, trained nurses, and support specialists just a phone call away. And that is exactly what happened 4 years later, working in a single covered emergency department by myself, the only physician in the facility that night, and multiple car crash accident came in, and the nurse anesthetist on call came down and was attempting to intubate the patient unsuccessfully. I knew immediately what was going on, performed the surgical airway, secured the patient's airway and vital signs, got the helicopter there to transport him. He went to the operating room, had all his injuries fixed, including the airway issue at hand, and survived to discharge and did quite well despite the gravity of the injuries sustained during a high-speed car crash into a brick wall. The point is that all of us need to make deposits into the confidence bank, no matter what career, what business, and what station of life we are in. Whether or not you've heard of David Goggins or not, he has the cookie jar, and he pulls cookies out of there. And so what I want to share is related to Dr. Nate Zinsser's book, The Confident Mind, and he gives 3 strategies on how to make deposits into the confidence bank, if you will. The first is to create a top 10 list, and this doesn't have to be like earth-shattering, award-winning events. Just think of the top 10 things in your life, and it doesn't have to be from today or tomorrow or last week. It can be from times farther past. The point is that you are the person that created those results through effort, through will, through sacrifice, dedication, and honoring yourself and your goals. You were able to create these wins. And so create a list of your past top 10 events and encourage you to attach a picture to this to help you trigger not only the thinking part of it, auditory words, but also the visual part of it to stimulate even further recall and laying down neural tracks to help build your confidence bank. The next technique he mentioned is ESP, so effort, success, and progress. Think about things that you have done today, last week, last year, how much effort it took, what successes you had, and even those that didn't turn out exactly how you wanted, how that progress rewarded you for the effort, the dedication, and the determination that you put into a particular event, situation, business project, what have you. And then the last is the immediate performance review. Many of us tend to dwell on the negatives of life. Maybe we tried something and failed, and we're feeling down and out about how, despite how we tried, it didn't turn out how we wanted it to be. But the point that Dr. Zinsser's stressing is that by pulling out the small nuggets, the small highlight reels, if you will, of these particular events, these small wins can further add to the growing balance in your confidence bank. So whether it's the last shot you took on the golf course, the last free throw you made during practice, the final sentence of your presentation at a business conference or board meeting, it doesn't have to be grand or grandiose. Maybe it was just pausing and getting into the gap before reacting to one of your small children at home who are having a temper tantrum. The point is that it is one of 3 techniques that Dr. Zinsser recommends in his book, The Confident Mind, which I highly encourage you to check out. The subtitle is The Battle-Tested Guide to Unshakable Performance. So these are just 3 simple techniques. Again, just repeat these. It's the top 10 review, the ESP, and the immediate performance review. So hope you found that helpful. Be safe, be well. Cheers.